over 5,000.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Hey, give it all praise to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, by Yeshim, Yahweh Shah, by Yeshim, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well in peace and many salutations to your account that's toiling in his truth. I wanted to play this video. Well, I actually have two videos. Um, it's showing you the situation that's going on in Venezuela. Iran. Um, what started off as peaceful protests in regards to the economy and inflation turned deadly. Um, with America hitting Iran with so many uh, uh, sanctions, it really has weakened the economy to where inflation is crippling the average citizen. So protests are going on about in regard to um, that situation, but you know it's turned deadly, and there's been some staggering reports, some exaggerated reports about you know thousands of people dying and things of that nature, which more likely is propaganda uh, from the West, really just uh, foster some type of you know sympathy for what the West is about to do. You know what I'm saying? Which is they're about to invade, you know, Iran. And of course, they paint themselves as if they are the heroes, coming to save the day from a dictator. And really, the reason why the protest is because of the sanctions, the various sanctions that America has put on Iran. The people of Iran are protesting because of it. And secondly, it's getting deadly out here. Well, it's getting deadly in Iran, I should say, in regards to these protests, because you have certain foreigners funding citizens with firearms. And the police of that particular region, what I'm saying, for lack of a better term, are you know uh, getting shot, man. And you can blame this on, of course, you know Esau Edom, or Babylon the Great. You know what I'm saying, here in America, man. You know what I'm saying? And the most I see these things, bro, and he's gonna judge. Because this is just another way in which this man can, bring war. And this is the old this is what he does. Just wherever he goes, he brings war, man. And he uses lies and deceit, and as a means to, um, make people have sympathy, you know, uh, sympathy for what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Or condone what he's doing, and it's under false pretenses, man. It's under lies. that he's able to do these things. So this is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in their power of their hand, right? So they're devising iniquity, right? Doing all types of wicked things on, behind the scenes so that they can, you know, so that they could, really, topple yet another government and put a puppet leader in that area, you know what I'm saying, for the for the agenda of, of the US and ultimately the small hatters over there, man. You know what I'm saying? But he paints the picture as if, you know, they're trying to liberate the people because they're under, such oppressive dictators, you know. And the people are just protesting because, of inflation, saying which, Babylon the Great has induced with its sanctions. See what I'm saying? So it says, let's read it again. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, and they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And this is exactly what Esau does. They come to various, these various nations, stir up some trouble, fund people to stir up some trouble, right? Fund the coup d'etat, then when his media paint, the leader of that given country as just a monster, to get the people on his side, right, or the nations on his side, on its side, and then, he'll destroy, he'll unalive or, you know, um, you know, take out the, that leader, set up a puppet leader, and take the natural resources, man, right? And sometimes they just destroy a whole damn country. Like look at Afghanistan, left in straight disarray, infrastructure out of there, you know. Then somehow, some way to tell you, it's for the better, You were oppressed for your betterment, under what I'm saying, white supremacy, man. This man here is off the chain, but he has certain things set in place, that enables him to do it. And one thing that he has set in place is his media, to just, just keep on, to keep, casting out those enchantments or those lies that he utilizes to subdue the people. Because most people, they don't have time to really sit back and dive. Well, time in a mental capacity, right? To sit back and just dive into, right, what's really going on. To people taking care of their kids in their nature, so they want to be informed. They turn on, the news like CNN and stuff like that, and it's just nothing but lies, man, right? And these people, they're support this lie, right? Right, and it's all based off of, this man's greed of wanting to take people's natural resources, man. Okay, Micah 2:2, and they cover fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, which from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for the time is evil. So the Most High, has got this man up, got this man in a trick bag. He's putting, the spirit of war in this man's spirit, right? Which is going to lead to his judgment, his detriment, if you will. You know what I'm saying? His destruction. And it's all according to the plans of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because World War III has to happen, right? In order for Yahweh Shah to return, because these various nations are gonna be fighting one another. But when Yahweh Shah returns, guess what? They're gonna stop fighting one another and turn to fight Yahweh Shah. And that's when it's over. So we gotta have this happen, man. We gotta have World War III to happen. And the Most High has put the right person in place. Our boy DJ, DJ Donald Trump, man. You know what I'm saying? To get things going, to mix things up. All right. And it's all, going according to plans of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay. We know that Iran has to get involved. We'll get involved in war because it's an ally to God, Gog and Magog, which is Russia. Russia is going to be pulled into the war. Russia is prophesied to come against the dragon, right? Or Satan, I should say, spoken about in Revelation, the 20th chapter, all right? And a partner, right, or for lack of a better term, a partner or ally, there you go, of Russia is Persia. The modern day Persia is Iran, okay? So before I get ahead of myself, I'm gonna play this short for you guys, and I have another video I would like to play for you guys. And then we'll get to it. We'll get to some more scriptures, and that'll be it. Okay.
Several Iranian cities chanting anti-regime slogans over the country's worsening.
You come up in here, you ain't show me no badge.
Major protests have erupted in Iran, with shopkeepers, bazaar merchants, and university students taking to the streets in several Iranian cities, chanting anti-regime slogans over the country's worsening economic crisis. The demonstrations come amid rising inflation rates, with Iran's currency losing nearly half its value against the US dollar in 2025, according to the State Statistics Center. The soaring cost of living has also made daily life a struggle for many across the country, with food prices rising by 72% and health and medical items up by 50% from last year. Video captured by...
Yeah, so cost of living is increasing substantially, man, because of these sanctions. So they're protesting, like, man, look, we gotta do something about this. And all of a sudden, things get very violent out, in the midst of these protests. Okay.
Protesters on the ground shows a heavy deployment of anti-riot police, and witnesses say tear gas was deployed in some parts of the country's capital, Tehran. Iranian authorities have a history of quashing bouts of unrest with violent security action and mass arrests. But officials on Tuesday said the government is looking to implement reform, with the head of Iran's central bank stepping down.
The government will listen patiently, even if there are harsh voices, because we believe that our people are patient enough. And when their voices are raised, the pressure that is being put on them is high. The government's job is to hear the voices and help them reach a common understanding to solve the problems that exist in society.
But the economic crisis also comes amid the risk of renewed conflict following June's 12-day war between Iran and Israel, and growing pressure from the US and their European allies over Iran's nuclear program.
You see that? So conflict with Israel is continuing to arise too. Okay. in the midst of Iran's nuclear program. And nuclear power is more than just missiles. You can use that to actually, you know, power your city. Okay, a lot of people like to use the argument that Iran is using this power for nuclear warheads, things of that nature. Whereas really there's no substantial evidence of that. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying this, using that same narrative since the '90s, and there's been no substantial evidence. You know what I'm saying? It's just another device or lie that Esau uses as a way to um, oppress the Iranians, man, or the Persians. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but they're gonna use that same played out narrative. You know what I'm saying, to eventually go to war. Okay.
The country's economy has been crippled by sanctions reimposed by both the US and the United Nations over Iran's failure to uphold its commitments under the JCPOA nuclear deal. And on Monday, US President Donald Trump warned of the potential for yet another round of strikes if Iran attempts to resume its ballistic or nuclear weapons program. Iran, however, has maintained that its nuclear energy program is entirely peaceful. Major protests have erupted in Iran with shopkeepers.
See that? As I just stated. So let's take a look, listen to the Young Turks. She brings out some very good information.
Agent.
Let her talk, and then let her speak for quite a while, because I want you guys to really hear what she's saying. And then after that, that'll be it for me. Okay.
Israeli journalist. He actually works for Channel 14 in Israel. That happens to be a Likud linked outlet. Had posted this, which was really fascinating, because you got to keep in mind the Iranian.
She's speaking about the protests right now, and there's a guy here that she's about to post, that relays some very interesting information in regards to these protesters getting armed by foreigners. Okay, all right.
People are not armed, right? So they don't really have any weapons to. Israeli journalist. He actually works for Channel 14 in Israel. That happens to be a Likud operations that are likely to be carried out very soon. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the other reports that came out prior to the latest developments, because I think it's kind of important to understand some of what's been going on the ground in Iran. So Tamir Morag, who is an Israeli journalist, he actually works for Channel 14 in Israel. That happens to be a Likud linked outlet. Had posted this, which was really fascinating, because you got to keep in mind the Iranian people are not armed, right? So they don't really have any weapons to protect themselves or to fight back against the regime. But there have been around 133, there could be more security forces who have been killed. So the real question is, how did they kill them? And turns out this reporter might give us some answers, Israeli reporter. He writes that, we reported tonight on Channel 14, foreign actors are arming the protesters in Iran with live firearms, which is the reason for the hundreds of regime personnel killed. Everyone is free to guess who is behind it, kind of being cheeky there. Then there's Tamir Heyman, who is the former head of the Israeli military intelligence, literally admitting that there is a very significant influence operation by the United States in Iran. And while speaking to an Israeli paper known as Ma'ariv, Heyman said the following: if the question is there zero operation right now? The answer is no, because there is already an operation. There is currently a very significant influence operation by the US, referring to the current unrest happening in Iran. By the way, this is a good time to pause and just say, the protesters who are out there, like, I don't want anyone to think that, oh, this whole protest is totally manufactured and the people of Iran are super happy with the regime. That is not the case. And that is not what I would ever say on this show. Okay. That's just not rooted in reality or fact. Organic protests have occurred. I feel, based on evidence that I'm sharing with you, that those organic protests in Iran against the regime, and I've got no love for the regime, were co-opted by foreign actors. And I am worried about that because the people of Iran deserve to decide who leads them, period. They don't deserve a foreign actor.
There you go. Yeah, you have it. She brought out two resources, you know, to back her claim that, you know, it's in fact the U.S. that's funding, you know, these various rebels in the crowd, you know, during these protests, you know, saying to fire at, you know, for lack of a better term, these police officers or military officers, you know what I'm saying, you know, to spark, you know, a coup d'etat, you know. And this is, again, another way for them to do what? To topple yet another government so they can set, you know, a puppet government in its stead, you know, saying that'll be, you know, advantageous for, you know, Israel. And also they could do what? They could take the natural resources. Okay. It's all about the paper. It's all about money, brothers. It's exactly what we see going on. It's the same playbook. It happened in Venezuela. It happened in Iraq. It happened in Libya. Okay. Right. Afghanistan is happening again in Iran. All right. But what's different about this situation is Iran is backed by who? Iran is backed by Gog and Magog. Okay. This is something that's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. Okay. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 38. And we'll start at 2. We'll start at verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against God in the land of Magog, the chief priests of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against it. If you look up this region here, that region is Russia. I actually had that in my study Bible. I wish I had it near me. I will read that to you guys. You know what I'm saying? The apostles have taught us that this is actually Russian, and also contemporary theological scholars, you know, agree. You know what I mean? You know, this is the area, that's the area of Russia. All right. It says, it say, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince, of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy enemies, and all thy armies. So like your brothers a bit tired, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Right? So the Most High is going to put the spirit on Gog and Magog to go to war, right? To get, you know, if you've been watching, people, there's been various war games going on. You know, people are, you know, boasting of the artillery that they have. Why is that? Because World War III is ruling. Okay. And Gog and Magog, aka Russia, is going to be, you know, an ally to who? Let's read in verse 5. Verse 5, Persia, which is where that's Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. That's East Africa, Libya, North Africa, right? All of them with shields and helmets, you know, which is basically artillery for war in the ancient times. Okay, this is what could happen. You know, I you know, I'm only speaking as a man, but it just seemed like this is going to be, you know, a hot war that could lead to something bigger. Right now, the Apostle Tahar says that the mark of the beast has to happen first. But we see that being erected before our eyes also. It's why, you know, he constantly talks about it. You know what I'm saying? Because as war is ruling, guess what? That mark of the beast is becoming readily available to the masses very soon. Okay, right? So things are being set in place for great judgment, brothers, right? And this is going to lead to the destruction of Esau Edom. You know, Esau Edom is going to be done away with for his greediness, right? For him being insatiable, you know, for him heaping up fields unto himself, for him, you know what I'm saying, being a violent man and destroying people on the false pretenses. He's going to get judged for these things, okay? All right? So when we see these things, man, we rejoice and also we fear the Heavenly Father because we know the time is short here. And we want to be right when Yahushua gets here, man. Right? Because it's going to take a lot of faith in order for us to endure the times that are coming. But it's lucky for rambling. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and I'll get a couple more scriptures. You know, it's lucky for rambling.
Actor to come in and install a monarch. They don't deserve a foreign actor to come in and meddle with their business at all. Now, I understand that some Iranians want the US to get involved because of the fact that it's going to take more than these protests and demonstrations to overthrow the regime. Although the Ayatollah was able to overthrow the Shah without US involvement. So anyway, but let's get to some more details here. Here's more of what Tamir Heyman, again, the former head of Israeli military intelligence, had to say. Simply put, an influence effort is an effort that operates primarily in the cyber realm and in the realm of local disruption and subversion, and there are some. Then he acknowledged that US sanctions were the cause, this is very important, were the cause of the economic issues that in Iran that sparked the initial protests, which are apparently being exploited by American and Israeli intelligence, saying there is the attempt, as we heard tonight from Trump, that this is a path of negotiation with the Americans, that this is really the only thing that can save the Iranian economy, the lifting of sanctions. So the protest did begin, and this is how it was initially reported. It began with anger toward the regime due to economic frustration. That economic frustration was manufactured in main part due to the US implementing sanctions against Iran. So let's also remember that former Secretary of State and former CIA Director Mike Pompeo said Happy New Year to every Iranian in the streets, also to every Mossad agent walking beside them. And the Israeli Heritage Minister Amichai Eliyahu said, and I'm quoting, "When we attacked in Iran during Rising Lion, we were on its soil and knew how to lay the groundwork for a strike. I can assure you that we have some of our people operating there right now." So while I want nothing more than for the Iranian people to be free, I am worried about where their government is going to end up, what their leadership will turn out to be, basically.
So not only is America involved, but of course the small headers are involved too, right? You know what I'm saying? To do what? To topple this again, the top of this government, man, for their hidden agenda. All right, it's the same playbook over and over again.
Because one thing that I do know for sure is they don't want foreign interference in regard to what their government becomes. But nonetheless, doesn't really matter what anyone really cares about or what anybody desires. Really, the countries with the military might are going to have their way. And I think that's going to play out here. So days ago, Amir Avivi, who is the founder of the idea.
No, not forever. Not forever. The Most High got these people in the trick bag, man. Okay? Real quickly. I got to get these scriptures. James, goodness. Job 20 and 14. I'm going to start at 13. I started 12. Job 20 and 12. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue. And this is what we see going on. This guy's hiding his wickedness with that tongue. You know, he's painting himself as the hero when he's actually the villain. It's what Esau Edom does. He does it, you know what I'm saying, with his religion. He does it with his pseudoscience, right? And it's all that, and it's just a spell, right? That fucking tongue, man, right? He wet it like as a sword, right? Or sharpen it as a sword. Alluding in Psalms 64 chapter. And he uses his verbiage as a way to subdue the people, right? Which really is, you know, a sophisticated lie, okay? Though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of ass within him. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. So yeah, you know, Esau Edom has accumulated a lot of wealth, man, a lot of capital. You know, that's an understatement. Capital is basically things that make you money, resources. You know what I'm saying? Humans, you know, animals, land. You know what I'm saying? Fine minerals. You know what I'm saying? This guy got everything underneath his hand. But guess what? The Most High is going to eventually have it to where this man has nothing. He's going to be cast down. All right? Babylon the Great's going to be cast down, man. All right? He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. Right? That poison, you know what I'm saying? You know, that was once a veil to this guy is going to eventually be his destruction, man. All right? He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter, right? The kingdom of heaven. You know, he say he's not going to be involved with these other nations. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Right? So all the things that he's laboring to do, guess what? He's going to give it up. Right? He's going to repay. And how's Esau Edom going to repay? With hardcore bondage for 1,000 years, and then guess what? You got to go, bro. You got to go back to the spirit world, big dog. All y'all. You know, all the Edomites. We got to go. That's how the Most High is going to pay you back, man. Right? Because he hath oppressed and forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away and the house which he buildeth not. And we see that right now. He's doing it right now, right before our eyes. Right? Setting up yet another coup. Right? The Most High is going to pay you back for that, man. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. That's right. So he's about to fulfill his belly, right? The MOTB system, right? The toppling of these various governments, you know what I'm saying? We think he's about to win. Guess what? The other nations got something in store for this guy. They're starting with who? Gog and Magog, right? Being a shield, you know what I'm saying? Unto who? Persia, right? An ally to Iran, right? This is what we see brewing potentially, man. A very major war. Okay, all right. And this war is gonna leave Babylon the Great in straits. Okay, when he's about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury out of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. This reminds me of the elder Yariala, my cat, when he breaks down the scripture. He says the Most High is going to fondue his plate. You know, back in the day when, you know, we were kids playing too much, somebody eating something, you come by and you flip the plate up, you fondue it. That's what how the Lord's gonna do Esau eating. He's gonna fondue that plate. Right? Verse 24, he shall he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through, and the missiles gonna strike this man through. So yeah, he looked like he winning now, but guess what? He's not gonna win, bro. He's saying you're not gonna win. All right, I have just a little bit more to this. I'm gonna play because it's an IDF soldier speaking. That's gonna really just show you, okay, these people are involved. You know what I'm saying? And then that'll be it.
IDF and retired IDF Brigadier General kind of gave the game away. I mean, it's kind of amazing how overt they are when it comes to these issues, because the Jerusalem Post had a conference about 6 days ago, and I thought that his statements were
Sorry about that.
pretty telling. Let's take a look.
Another fight with Iran and Hezbollah and possibly the Houthis is imminent. And today I can say something we couldn't have said a month ago. This regime is going down. There will be no Iranian regime. And this is going to change entirely the future of Israel.
Can you describe us? It will be an American attack. It will be an Israeli-American attack.
So I think it's going to be an American-led attack with the assistance of Israel. And Israel prepared for a preemptive attack. But as Israel was preparing for a preemptive attack that might have happened even today, the demonstration started, and a clear message for President Trump: we are not going to let you shoot these demonstrators. We are going to defend them. And indeed, I think that we'll see in the very near future a massive American attack with the help of Israel and with the demonstrators. I think this regime stands no chance, and they will fall. And I can tell you.
So he said, with the help of the demonstrators and in America, in Israel, Iran is going to fall. Let me just let you know, man, that they have insiders there, man. Right? This is what the woman that's speaking, this is what's basically she's been telling you this whole time, man. Right? Right? And yes, Esau Edom doing all these things, has all these covert missions that he's on. but it's not going to be of any avail. Everything that we see going on is for the will of the Heavenly Father. That's what prophecy is. You know what I'm saying? You know, Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. All these things are leading up to him coming. So though it might seem like these guys are unsurmountable, brothers, guess what? These things have to happen for prophecy's sake, so that Yahweh Shai can return. The Most High is putting the spirit on these guys to be wicked demons. So when he come back and judge them, you know what I'm saying? When he comes back and judge them, it's it. It's over, bro. It's over. And we're about to see the end of Esau, bro. All right. So when we see these things, we rejoice in the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Shah. We about to get up out of here, man. You know, about to get up out of here. James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your miseries shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have weak treasures together for the last days. So all this thing is all these things that Esau Edom has accumulated, it's for the last days. He's about to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Most High about to take him out. Right? Behold the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord Sabaoth. So the Most High has been hearing our cries, man. We've been at the bottom of this man Esau Edom for centuries. Us out here sighing and crying. The Most High hears us, right? You know. Esau Edom, man, he has everybody just running, just trying to pay bills, man. You know, half of your time, you know, you just trying to, you know, make ends meet, raise slaves. We don't know how to do anything by ourselves anymore. How to build shit, you know, cook, you know what I'm saying? Fend for ourselves, man. We go to this man for every fucking thing. Make clothes, nothing. We don't know what type of meat we're eating. You know, we just, you know, shit, you know, run around all damn day just to come home, look at your kid for 2 seconds, take a shower, eat something, try to put a lesson together, and start all over again. Now, picture somebody in the world. Most of us not even included in that. They're just too busy trying to, you know, enjoy that little time off, a little escapism, and do it all over again, man. Right? Meanwhile, this man is just draining them dry for everything that they have. Right? So this guy, he got to be taken. He gonna be taken out of the way for all the wickedness that he's done, especially how he's treated the people of the earth. You know, people of the earth are lamenting, man. People of the earth need a righteous ruler. And when Yahweh Shai is going to return, that's going to be a righteous ruler, man. You know, he can put the nation of Israel back in its rightful place. So there's not going to be any more death than you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, and the earth is going to flourish because of it. The real Israelites are going to be set up, man. Not the small headers over there that's trying to forge, you know, that blessing, right? By killing every goddamn thing in sight. Nah, man. The true blessing of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to be seen when Yahweh Shai returns. The true people of the Lord will be seen, man. peace will flourish on the face of the earth. But in order to do that, this guy has to be taken out of the way, man. Esau, he got to go. You know, verse 5, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton, right? Which I believe without no constraint. You know what I'm saying? The word wanton, let's look it up. Word wanton, of a cruel or violent action, deliberate and unprovoked. Oh, see, I'm glad I looked it up. Yep. Been very wanton, very cruel to the people. I'm glad I looked it up. The water Yahweh Shemini shot for you. This feed on me. Been very, cruel, and it's been unprovoked, right? Slaughtering everybody, man. Killing everybody, dog. Right? Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Right? So you have no resistance from the nation of Israel, right? From the elect, right? Spiritually, you do, but physically, you don't, right? Yeah, you still come up against it with your propaganda, right? The CIA, we know, runs basically social media, right? So you go on TikTok, things like that, you have a plethora of people that's speaking against the truth, right? Bashing us, things of that nature, right? Which a lot of it's, is going to lead to people, rationalizing, putting hands on us, man. But that's fine though. That has to happen. Someone has to be, killed for the will of the Heavenly Father. But that just doesn't negate that, so you're gonna be taken out of the way, bro. You're gonna be taken out of the way for your wickedness. Okay. All right. What we got here? Proverbs 22:16. He that oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. And this is what's gonna happen to you. Esau. You've been oppressing the poor, right? You've been, for small-headers. Guess what? The time is coming when you're gonna be in want. And guess what? It's already happening. The average Edomite man is lamenting under your rulership, right? But it's more to come, especially, when all hell breaks loose, right? He's definitely going to be in want in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to be in straits, okay? So, prayer is edifying for you guys. Give our praise to the Father. His name is Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Kakadash, the honest, the apostles and the others of Ruel. And many say, taste you, I count to in the truth, Shalom.